different direction with it.
What's good? What's good? What's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning into Voice of the Fans podcast. This week is week 264 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Fans, want to give yourself a round of applause for joining in and being a part of the show. Let's keep it going. Keep the applause going. Give Cleavon a round of applause for being a part of the show. Thank you, Cleavon, for joining the show. Fans, as always, man, we're going to get the show started like this, and we got a lot to talk about this week. A lot to talk about, so stick with us and enjoy the introduction.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is Cameron.
Cam Buford.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
This is a big, big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy. I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Talk about that loyalty for a moment. I'm standing there to try to make a change. Get back to the youth, get back to my community and show them that there is hope that you can make it out. Only thing is you just got to be dedicated. You got to keep your head down and stay on this course that you're heading towards.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter. The fighter works for the promoter.
Okay.
If you can see, you can believe.
So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with him?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
On your team, is ball number 2 option or your number 3 option? On your team, 30 nights a year, he's my number 1 option. 30 nights.
Can I finish?
Right now?
Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about these upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Well, every game's a new game, so each one's a different experience, different defense, different players, different game plan. So.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the Fan
Oh my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
Real ones know what's going on, right?
Like you said, Pacific Northwest, so I think it's a big part of my game, and every time I step on the floor, I just want to represent myself.
You play this game and you don't turn to win a championship, then why are you playing for?
I'm happy for the Mariners. I'm happy
Cam, nobody.
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
Look at the buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do
I'm real surprised at that, Cam.
Hey, give here. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's the big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good as. Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do it.
Yeah, what's good, fans? Once again, it's week 264 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the NFL as we do kick it off with the NFL review of week 8. Got some stuff happening. I asked you about Chase last week. I asked you what you thought about your Commanders last week, and you was ready. You shot up the boat. You jumped off the ship, and apparently, the new owners, Magic Johnson. I mean, they said it's time for a change. They said because they throwing cats off the boat. We're gonna get into the NBA. Big trade went down. Big trade went down. Cleveland. We're gonna get your thoughts on the NBA action. Is the NBA MLB season over? Is the season over yet? I haven't checked the score, but is tonight the end of the Major League Baseball season?
The Texas Rangers are currently leading the World Series 3-1. So if they win this game, it will be a World Series.
Yeah, what's the score of the game? Though? Has the game started?
It started at 5 o'clock. I have not had an opportunity. I was getting ready for the show, so I haven't seen what the actual score of the game is.
Well, we appreciate your commitment. What's the score of the game? Is 1-0. The Rangers are up in the top of the seventh. Top of the seventh. So we just few more innings of the Major League Baseball season, fans. We thank you guys for sticking with us, and we'll give
Potentially, Cam. I mean, don't why are you doing that? See, that's how
top of the seventh.
that's how teams get jinxed. You're already saying like, oh, it's all over.
The Rangers, come on, man. The Rangers are 10 and
the fat lady sings, Cam.
The Rangers are 10 and 0 on the road. The Rangers are 10 and 0 on the road in these playoffs. Have you heard of that before? A team being 10 and 0 in the Major League Baseball playoffs? Like they don't lose on the road.
Okay,
and they
Sats will say, hey man, it's probably about time, right?
That's one way to look at it.
Closing their coffin a little prematurely, I'm just saying.
Well, okay, fans, we'll keep you up to date on that. We always got our This Week in History segment. So with it being November 1, hopefully everybody had a happy and safe Halloween. Would it be in November 1, Cleveland? Week 264 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. When you think of the number 1, Cleveland, who wore that jersey the best? Or who comes to your mind when you think of number 1?
Cam, who comes to mind first is point guard that brought the city its first world championship, and that is Gus Williams of the Seattle SuperSonics.
Yes,
sir. Who wore best is another athlete from the Pacific Northwest, 206, a quarterback for the Washington Huskies, Edmonton Eskimos, Houston Oilers, Minnesota Vikings, Kansas City Chiefs, Seattle Seahawks, a cat by the name of Warren Moon.
Did you mention the Houston Oilers?
I sure did. If I missed it, I think I started with that, but if not, the Houston Oilers as well. The run and shoot. Alex Davis, Pardee. Yeah.
What about Oscar Robinson?
Great. He wore quite well. I'm just saying, like, from a historical perspective, because we do that part of the show as well. Warren Moon being one of the pioneers as far as black quarterbacks are concerned, and if you look around the league, you can see his his influence and his impression everywhere.
Real quick about that Major League Baseball game, dude. The Diamondbacks had a no going into the 7th inning before somebody got a hit. So it was surprising. They was trying to hang in there. They was trying to hang in there, but Ozzie Smith. Oh, you don't know nothing about baseball. You don't know what that is. The Wizard. Ozzie Smith also wore number 1. You ain't mentioned him. What about number 64? You got anybody?
Big Jim Burt for the New York Giants. I remember when he crushed Joe Montana that one time.
Oh, that was sweet. That was a good pull, Jim Burt. You got Jerry Kramer, formerly is a late Jerry. Didn't he pass away? Former owner of the Carolina Panthers. I think he passed away. I don't mean to put the man in the coffin.
That was Jerry Richardson. That wasn't Jerry Kramer. That's a different Jerry.
Okay. Jerry Kramer also was in the NFL, but Randall McDaniel, he spent some time up there in Renton, and then the defensive tackle.
63 Playboy when he was up here. I mean, was he for somewhere else?
In Minnesota, maybe.
Yeah, I still think it was 63. We'll check on that.
So Cleveland, let's look back at the week number 8 in the season or in the NFL. Most impressive wins I had last week. The Lions, are they back on track? After beating the Raiders on Monday night, that was a smackdown. It could have been worse. It could have been worse if not for a couple missed catches and some errant throws by Goff. But that was a beatdown by the Raiders. That could have been worse. The Bengals over the Niners. You called that one. That was a good game. And the Panthers getting their first win. Those are the most impressive wins I had from week number 8. And the worst losses I had was the Commanders losing, the Niners losing, and then the Falcons again losing again. Their coach, we'll get into him later, but their coach making some moves to save his job. What was your takeaway from week number 8? Your most impressive wins and losses from last week?
Oh, well, Cam, the most impressive victory would have to be the Cincinnati Bengals taking business over the 49ers. I mean, that was just kind of reestablishing themselves as a force to be reckoned with, throughout the league. And watching, the Atlanta Falcons just kind of dissolve and have to switch and go to a different quarterback. That was quite crazy.
Well, some of that's the coaching. They're going to a different quarterback because the coach is trying to save his job. He's trying to do everything right now to save his job. But that was the coaching. So real quick, fans, we got 20 seconds to go. New Orleans up by 2 over the OKC Thunder, and the Thunder. Shea is at the Shea is at the 3-point line. He looked like he was about to pull a three. But looks like a timeout's been called. There's 12 seconds to go in the game. It's a 2-point game. The Thunder up, or excuse me, the Pelicans are up 2. 12 seconds to go over the Thunder. Timeouts on the floor. I'm sorry. We got a good game. In this one here, the Thunder jumped off to a 20-point lead, and the Pelicans just been chipping away, and then they went up 10, and the Pelicans or the Thunder now have a chance to win the game here. So 12 seconds to go. But yeah, the Hawks, the coach, we might as well get into it now. This coach stinks. He absolutely stinks out loud. Not only, week after week after week, he's making terrible calls, terrible play calls. I don't see these guys playing inspired football. And I think he's going to Ritter, or excuse me, he benching Ritter for Heineke, which I told you at the beginning of the season. I thought Heineke should have been starting. If you remember, I told you that 2 months ago. I thought Heineke was not bad in Washington. I actually thought Washington should have kept him. But if he went to a different team, Ritter hasn't proven enough to be starting over Heineke, who's a gamer. He's nothing impressive. He's not going to be NBA All-Star or NFL All-Star, but he's a gamer. And he played spirited football with the Commanders, and they signed him, and I guess they signed him just in case. And now they breaking the glass because now's the time. Because Ritter with the coach, absolutely, they've been horrible the last few weeks specifically. So it's 9 seconds. The clock is counting. Shea got the ball at the top of the key, at the top of the 3-point line. Looks like he's pulling up for 3 over Zion, who gets a piece of it. Just a terrible shot. I mean, there was no ball movement. There was no. He wasn't even open 3. Zion was covering him. It was just a terrible shot. And I mean, now Shea got to do the obligatory limping on the court. But yeah, he has the ball 7 seconds at the top of the key and just kind of walks into a 3. Zion trying to draw the foul. He might be getting a check, the pink slip in the mail for trying to draw the block foul. But yeah, that was just a bad loss for OKC because they jumped out right on top of these guys early. But yeah, these Hawks, go ahead. What was your other? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to give you the rundown. But what was your other worst loss in this game?
Oh, this week I would have to say the New York Giants. They had an opportunity to take the New York Jets, and Graham Gano just choking it away from him.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Yeah, that was a bad loss. But fortunately, for the bad loss, I mean, you guys get Leonard Williams out the deal. Leonard Williams is one of the bigger trades that gets made. But before we get to the rest of the trades that was made, what about the Raiders firing McDaniel and the GM in the middle of the night? Like this, they try to sneak this under the wire or something. They did it at 10:30 at night. McDaniels becomes the first coach to get hired and the first coach to get fired in the middle of the season twice and not complete either contract. It is ridiculous. Antonio Pierce takes over. He immediately benches Jimmy G. Should they have traded Devontae Adams over the weekend to try to? I mean, they're not going nowhere. Should they have traded Devontae Adams to trying to get something? What do you think of this Raider situation?
I mean, only if they wanted to benefit him, Cam. I mean, clearly there's a lot of disarray going on over there, so they don't really know what direction they're trying to go through. But I mean, retaining your most valuable asset before you make any real serious decisions is probably a wise move. I mean, they've already decided to clean house, from a coaching and managerial perspective. So, yeah, let the next person make that decision. Don't let those guys make that decision on how much you can or can't get for Devontae Adams. They already decided that they wanted to move on from that. So,
What do you think of Antonio Pierce as a head coach? I don't know if you heard his press conference.
man, I'm not. As a head coach of an NFL team, he had trouble being the defensive coordinator at Arizona State. That was over his head. So him being the coach of an NFL franchise, that seemed incredibly questionable to me.
He said he grew up in Compton with the NWA and Raider caps.
That's great, man. I'm glad that he was a fan of the fashion motif that they were able to create with that, and that was cool, man. He probably feels a certain type of respect for the silver and black, and now he's the coach and stuff like Art Shell and them. That's cool, but no, man, this is way over his head. It will become visibly apparent very quickly.
Oh wow, he's calling him out immediately. Well, you talked about those Giants and Leonard Williams going to the Seahawks. What does this do for them?
It bolsters that defensive line, makes them one of the top 5 defenses in the league if Leonard Williams is who we think that he is.
Whoa, top 5 defenses in the league.
Yeah.
Leonard Williams ain't that guy.
I'm so sorry. He's not that guy? Are you sure?
I didn't say this was Aaron Donald. They're not getting Aaron Donald.
Okay, well, they were a top 10 defense without Leonard Williams. He propels them to top 5 in the league.
Ooh, that's high praise, don't you think?
No, not really.
Wow.
I mean, if you can name 5 other defenses better, I'm all ears.
You want to start with the Browns, the Colts, the 49ers?
No, I'll help you out. I'll give you
the Eagles. You want to go to the Cowboys?
49ers. I'll even give you the Eagles, the Colts. Yeah, no, not really.
What are you talking about? What do you mean? No, not really. The Colts that's the only way they're winning games is on their defense.
We gave up 39 points to the Cleveland Browns. Nah, we held them to 20. There's a comp there. So, yeah. They don't count.
I mean, top 5 is strong.
I know. You're scratching your head looking for somebody else. I'll even throw you a bone. The Cowboys.
Yeah, I named 5 already.
Sure.
I named 5 already.
No. But you're going to see the influence and the impact of Leonard Williams. You'll be like, oh, wow. The stuff that they're doing out there now, crazy. And you'll be like, they're a top 5 defense.
So he takes he becomes who was Red? Who was Red the pass rusher? Reed or Red? Who was the defensive tackle you guys had a couple years ago? That was a force down there. Reed.
Jaron Reed's been an interior guy. Jadavian Clowney's been on the outside. But this is a different type of a guy.
Okay, I mean, I don't know top 5. That's high praise, but okay. Now you put the pressure on the Seahawks. So and Pete and John again. Okay. The Niners. Why didn't Pete and John go get Chase Young? If all it took was a 3rd rounder to get Chase Young?
Because he's been suspect, Cam. I mean, ever since it came out, everybody was expecting the world. I mean, like we've talked about on this show, the greatest hit and misses are at quarterback and defensive end. The greatest hit and misses. And so far, he's been a miss.
We got Deion Jordan with the number 3 pick, and I think he played 3 games in 3 seasons. Like, yeah. So you don't think him teaming up with his college buddy?
I mean, that's cool, man. And at the time, who was the more dominant player? It was Chase, right? I mean, that's great. I mean, that college stuff is cool. He has not proven to pan out in the pros so far. He's not been nearly what people had anticipated.
But when you don't like to talk about mentors. I know you don't like to talk about
Oh,
mentors.
he's had plenty of mentors.
I know you don't want to
Ron
talk
Rivera
about
is his coach who played on the 46 Bears defense. I don't want
Ron
to hear it.
Rivera. No, now he has teammates. The teammates he's putting on the who's putting on the helmet.
So
Makes
Nick's
the most
a mentor
Fred
now.
Warner.
A mentor now. Is he a mentor now?
No. I'm saying now he has teammates who's putting on the helmets who's going to be in his ear.
He didn't have that before at Washington?
Who was he? No, he was supposed to be the man at Washington. He didn't know which direction to go. Now he has these guys.
Okay,
You don't think
yeah,
that's
I know you're always looking for lost souls, man, to come to somewhere and sit down here next to me, son, and let's talk about it and let's work it out and get you on the right path to redemption. I mean, we'll see. This is NFL, man.
That counts. Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if that matters. We're gonna see if that matters.
We're gonna see if that matters.
The Vikings trading Josh Dobbs after Cousins goes down. You know, it's a shame what happened to Kirk Cousins. It's a shame that happened to Kirk Cousins. He was putting up big numbers this
Man,
season.
don't go act like you're feeling sorry for Kirk Cousins, man. Like you got some type of shed a tear, man. Pour out a little liquor, man. You don't care about Kirk Cousins. Why are you even going there like that?
I was just trying to say it's a shame that what happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Now they got Josh Dobbs. It was Josh Dobbs. I actually like Josh Dobbs when he played for your boy in Pittsburgh.
For Tomlin, sure.
Yeah, I actually liked him. But your boy Big Ben was like, nope, get him out of here. Nope, I still got 2 seasons left. And they messed around and Josh Dobbs had to let him go. What is Bob Myers doing behind the mic on ESPN? Like, do you understand that move? Like, out of all the basketball minds they could have got this guy with no personality at all.
Yeah, that's a tough experiment. I mean, he's got a lot of
he has friends in the industry.
Resume to show people, but so far on television, not really showing that well.
Have you seen him? Like,
yeah, I saw him I think opening night or second game. Yeah.
What are you come on, man. You guys couldn't did you guys do a interview or not a background screen in the what's a demo reel or something? Because this guy's terrible. Man, he's horrible. Just as dry as can be. But nonetheless, Job Dobbs going to Minnesota. Like I say, I like Job Dobbs when he played for Pittsburgh. He finally got a chance to do something in Arizona, although Arizona stinks. And I'm not saying he's the next coming of Randall McDaniel or Randall Cunningham, excuse me. But he might be a serviceable quarterback. Now let's see if he has some tools in Minnesota. They don't really have a true running game, but he has some wide receivers to throw to with the emergence of Addison and Osborne, and Jefferson's going to be coming back before too long. I mean, what do you think about that trade? And what do you say? What does that trade tell you about Kyler Murray?
What the trade tells me about Kyler Murray is that he's ready to go, or if not, within the next week or so. And they weren't going to have any use for Dobbs going forward. So might as well get as much as you can for him, right now. And there was a team that was in complete, total desperation that was willing to give up quite a bit to get him. So now whether the Minnesota Vikings can, right the ship and, tread water for the next 6 or 7 weeks, that remains to be seen.
I mean, either way, I told you before at the beginning of the season, I didn't think Minnesota was going to duplicate the season they had last year. I thought that was a lot of smoke and mirrors.
Not duplicating the season that they had last year, but they're right there in the thick of things. They're 4-4.
Again, last year they were 13-4 and won 8 games by 7 points or less. Like that was unduplicatable. So I expected a significant drop off. I may, without even looking at it, I may not even have them in the playoffs. So, but my point is that Minnesota gonna mess around and be right in that mid-round purgatory where they're not good enough to get one of the top quarterback draft picks in the NFL or coming back in the draft, and they're going to be too good. I mean, they're going to be just out of the playoffs to where you're going to have to reach for another quarterback because this is Kurt's last year. I mean, regardless of he was there or not, I think the same thing is going to happen. They were going to finish outside the playoffs. But this being Kurt's final year on the contract, like they're looking for a quarterback. So I just don't picking up Dobbs again. I like Dobbs. I like the move that you're trying to. I'd rather my GM try to fight to win the game versus trying to play with a scrub and lose a game. Go ahead, Bones. Go ahead, Bones. We got the Lakers and the Clippers right now going down in the crypto on the purple and yellow floor here. Bones.
Oh, okay. So it's a true Crip house.
Well, I don't know about that, but we got Bones Highland, we got Kawhi, we got
Ballmer Estates.
the G.
It's the Crip house.
I mean, whatever in this particular matchup is like 13-2.
Is Harden playing
in the last 15 games? We're gonna get to Harden later. Okay, don't try to jump the gun. We're gonna get to that later. Okay, I see your excitement to jump all over that topic. We're gonna get hold your horses, buddy. Hold your horses. But I don't know. What do you think about the? I prefer the GM, the coach, to make a move to try to keep us alive. But I don't know that Josh Dobbs is going to get you into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, well, it sounds like Cam, like you, prefer they just tank and just write the whole season off and just see as close as they can get to Caleb Williams or May from North Carolina. Whereas,
I mean, that would be the best. That would be
they're
the
trying
best
to be competitive, make the playoffs. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The NFC is not just run away with itself just yet.
They're not making the playoffs again. Without, I'm not saying now you're going to make me go look and double check my.
Okay, well, they're thinking keep hope alive.
Yeah,
they're thinking keep hope alive.
Is that's what they're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Where are my predictions for the NFL projections? NFC. Did I have? I had. Excuse me, fans. I had the Eagles, Lions, Saints, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, and Packers. Again, well, the Packers ain't gonna make it, boy. I tell you what, we gonna get to Jordan Love, boy. Ooh, talk about Stinkola. That was one pick I was wrong. I was trying to be so right on Jordan Love. I was completely. He looks apart. he looks apart, boy. He can drop back in preseason. He can drop back in the pregame routine. Boy, he looked good when he dropped back and he throws that ball in pregame. But when you put him on the field and got somebody coming after him, he lose all sensibilities, man. Jordan Love is he be out there.
Cam has turned on his dude something wicked. Wow.
Jordan, this ain't quick, bro. This is week 8. This is week 8. I've been seeing it. It's been regressing. Again, it's week 8. He be confused out there, man. I'm so sorry for the Green Bay Packers fans who I try to hype up and say, you guys got one. You guys gonna continue the legacy. This guy stinks. This guy stinks. Wow. Boy, I tell you that. The Chicago Bears give Commanders a second round for Montez Sweat. That's kind of confusing. They give up a second round as if like they're in the hunt. You feel me? Like the Bears, you guys ain't doing nothing. What you think about that one?
They had the number 1 pick in the draft last year. They could quite potentially have the number 1 pick in the draft this year again. Maybe they were just
I think they have
figuring like if they had a second round pick, that's what they would draft. That's what they would use the pick on. So, I mean, other than that, and he's a free agent at the end of the season. So, wow, do you know something the rest of us don't with regards to what his market will dictate? Seems a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot for. I mean, and you're not going nowhere. I mean, and you're not going nowhere. That's the thing about it. Another team ain't going nowhere. The Falcons, they go to the Eagles and get to Contavious Street. I mean, I guess you try to get some to bolster. You said their defense is going to be good in the offseason. And not that it's not, but I think their offense is worse. But they get the Eagles, I mean, just to kind of bolster that front line a little bit. You like that move?
I mean, again, probably even more indifferent than the Chicago move. I mean, they're still kind of in the thick of things, and NFC South is by no means a a runaway division. So, who knows what's going to happen there. So, yeah, stay close, stay in contention. That helps, then so be it.
Are you ready to say the Lions are back after their Monday night spanking of the hapless Raiders?
Oh man, they're in that top five, that fantastic five in the NFC.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you was ready to write them off last week, because they lost to the Ravens. You was ready to write them off.
Sure.
Who do you blame the Chiefs' offensive struggles on? Not scoring no points that they haven't. I think they scored over 30 points once this season. Clearly they have an offensive struggles. Is it just the receivers? The receivers aren't adequate. Who we're used to them having? Is it Bieniemy? Is it Nagy? Is the league catching up to them? What do you blame this? It's hard to say that they're 6-2, but yet and still we see chinks in the armor. What's your thoughts on the Chiefs?
Cam, I think it's I don't want to call it the Shanahanism, but I think it's a little too much plug and play. You start to lose a lot of talent. You start to lose the Tyreeks. You start to lose the Juju. You start to lose some of those players that were, I'm just going to replace them with so and so, and we're just going to run the same thing, and it just does not work like that. You still got the Kelsey. You still got the the Patrick, but all those other pieces, they're not really gelling so far. And we're starting to learn.
Patrick is the best.
Probably Benny was a little bit more integral to some of the success that they were having than.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Previously thought.
That's what I think is more Bieniemy than a lot of people give credit to. But at the same time, it's kind of thought Patrick was supposed to be the guy who makes everybody better, right? The force multiplier. And we're not seeing that he's making these average receivers better, right?
He is, Cam, but again, you're asking him to turn water into wine. You're asking him to make average receivers into Pro Bowlers, and he's really, really good, and he can only do so much, man. Those guys are not, who they thought that they were initially, and they thought it was a real plug and play type of situation over there, and they're realizing that the NFL is not like that. It has to be replenished with talent, no matter how great your scheme is.
You couldn't wait to say that one. You couldn't wait to say that. You couldn't wait to talk about scheme. I know you love that phrase, Cleveland.
Yeah, I know you don't quite understand it, man. You always want it to be like a blueprint, and it's not. Yeah.
You love that phrase. Can you see what's on it? Can you see this?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Oh man, I got something weird going on where they done changed up the format. I can't even see what's going down. Right. Hold on. I'm sorry, fans. This is something weird they added to the format here in StreamYard. Anyway, all right. So we're looking at our supremacy picks. We got last week and then this week here, Cleveland. So we agree Philly at the top. You got Miami at number 2. That's interesting how you put them right there. That's interesting. I got Baltimore at number 2. KC, we agree at KC's at number 3. I got Miami and Dallas. And I got the Lions. I don't have the Seahawks. You don't have the Lions.
Whoa. I have Dallas and the Seahawks. You have the Lions.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And Baltimore number 2. Good grief.
Baltimore's.
You been watching this season, man?
They're playing consistent football. Who's beat the Lions? I mean, who's beat that was their test was against the Lions. Their most recent test was against the Lions, and they put 40 up on the Lions, didn't they? That was a big game of the week 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, explain why you got the Dolphins at number 2. Explain. Go ahead and explain that.
Oh well, sure. Tua Tagovailoa is proven to be an MVP caliber quarterback in this league right now. They have one of the most high powered offenses in the history of the NFL. They have receivers like Waddle and Hill running routes. They have a tremendous running game. They have Jalen Ramsey coming in to kind of get his feet wet to start the year. A formidable defense, great special teams.
I shouldn't even answer that question, fans. He's trying to butter me up. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that he's all in on the Dolphins. I'm not buying it.
And I certainly think they were more
I'm buying
balanced than the Baltimore Ravens. Good grief. I mean, up until recently, they didn't have any running game whatsoever to speak of. I don't know if you recall their last win before this last game. Their field goal kicker had 6 field goals. The goat Justin.
That just happened to be the best field goal kicker in all of NFL.
It happens to be, and thank goodness for that, because they probably wouldn't be 6-2 without him.
Oh, that's a cold one. That's a cold one. That's a cold shot right there. I mean, so Lamar's not your MVP race. I know it's early.
No.
I'm not even getting into.
No, it's early. It's early, and no, he's not in it.
I'm not even getting to the MVP conversation.
No,
but you don't have. I mean, this might be because you see the Ravens this week. This might be why you're acting like you're not so high on the Ravens. This might be. Did that have anything to do with it?
I have the Ravens winning this week, so no, it doesn't have anything to do with it.
So they lost to the Colts. So I try to tell you the Colts had a strong D, and they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But they're 3-0. They beat Tennessee, Detroit, and Arizona. I mean,
I'm so sorry. Tennessee, Detroit, and Arizona. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tennessee and Arizona don't have winning records. Who else did they beat?
The Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati, and Houston.
Okay.
You're Houston Texans.
Some tough teams.
I mean, 6-2. They're doing their thing right now. So we're looking at our picks from last week. I had the Jags over Pittsburgh, and still don't see what you see in Pittsburgh, but I had the Giants over the Jets, and we saw if the field goal goes in. I mean, Gano was Ganot the other day, so the Jets got a stinking win. Houston, the Panthers got their first win of the season by beating up on Houston. I had Cleveland over the Seahawks. You want to talk about that game? Talk about what you saw of the Seahawks. You want to talk about what you saw out of Geno?
Seesaw back and forth game. I actually went to that game with a friend of mine from the Q16. It was a great time had by all. But what I saw was the offense was continuing to let them down. A lot of 3 and outs. Had this been a more formidable offense, they would have lost that game. Fortunately,
Walker was the quarterback.
Kept him in the game for a little bit too long, and they were able to come out with a victory.
So that's not high praise for a team you have top 5.
No, not really high praise, and that's why I want to see what Leonard Williams brings to this defense. Let's see if they get a little bit more commitment to the offense and run some plays and some throws that Geno Smith can,
When you say more commitment, what do you think they need? They are not running the ball enough? Or are you ready to admit? Are you ready to agree with me that Kenneth Walker just needs to?
No, I'm not ready to agree with you about that at all, Ken.
I mean, you refuse to listen.
I'm not ready to agree with that at all. What I am ready to agree with is that they have to call plays that Geno Smith can actually execute and keep the chains moving, which they have the inability to do right now on offense. It's it is extremely frustrating.
You need more Smith and Jigba?
Absolutely. He's wide open every time. I mean, he's got the 3rd best cornerback on him. That's a mismatch every time. And when you see it like from the field cam, it looks even worse. Like there's no way that's
what I told you when they drafted him. When I've been telling you for 2 years, they need a 3rd receiver.
Well, they have one, and they don't use him effectively enough. I agree. They don't. They should.
So being at the stadium,
Yeah.
watching it, where were your seats? Were your seats on the
They're
yard line
actually
or
in the
in the
end
end zone?
zone,
The end
about
zone are the
maybe
best
30
seats.
rows up in the end zone
The
coming
end
north.
zone is the best seats. Would
We
you
had the
agree?
second, yes, we had the second quarter and the fourth quarter on the opening, on the actually the game-winning drive when he flipped the little pass out to NJ Good. But every time they lined up and it was one-on-one coverage, I was like, why not go to him?
I mean, because there is your guy DK and Tyler Lockett. I
And
mean,
then on top of that, they always try and throw the fade route to DK, which is a route DK doesn't run very well, and Gino doesn't throw very well. But yet and still, they continue to try and execute it.
well, I
It's
said DK
frustrating.
doesn't run it very well. So
Well,
would you agree that the end zone are the best seats versus anywhere between even if you're on the 50-yard line, 50-yard line, 100 level, even I say 200 level because you can't be too low on the 50-yard line. You need to be up higher kind of to see the whole field. But would you agree that the end zone either side are the best seats in the stadium?
Yeah, when it's coming to you. Like, for example, if it was late in the fourth quarter and it's going away from me, I'd be mad.
Well, I mean, that's if your eyesight's that bad. I mean, yeah,
It's not even eyesight being that bad. It's like it's going away from you like 100
but
yards.
you could still see the plays develop more so than you could. I mean, that's like
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's why I enjoy the end zone because you can see the play develop. Again, obviously, if they're coming to you, it's better for you. But going away, either way, from the end zone, it's a much better view. So even being in the stadium and even having the view that you had, you don't see too much dancing by your guy, Kenneth Walker. You don't see him dancing too much.
Well, I mean, against this defense, came here to do what he had to do. I mean, this is the top defense in the league. Let's try and find some separation and hit the holes when they're there.
So you just refuse to agree with me on this point.
Yeah. So far, yeah. I mean, if that happens, then they'll just go with Charbonnet.
No,
but so far, they're happy with Kenneth Walker III.
If that's all you picked up Charbonnet too in fantasy football, I don't know why you did that, but come on. So the Seahawks lost to the Browns. We talked about the Broncos. Actually, we gotta change. I gotta change this. I mean, you should have caught this on the spreadsheet. The Chiefs actually lost to the Broncos. They didn't beat them.
Should have caught that. That is my error.
Yeah, we gotta change. We gotta change that. The Ravens and the Cardinals. We talked about that one. The Chargers got a W. Are they back on track? I mean, I pay that no mind. They beat.
Oh man, they're back on track.
Well, here you go. I don't pay that. I'm not paying you no mind.
They're ready to get it going.
Yeah, whatever. The Raiders got smacked around by the Detroit Lions, as I mentioned, and then we talk about what you saw the Cincinnati Bengals beating up on Brock Purdy and the 49ers.
Well, Cam, I mean,
your boy just shot your boy son of Jarrell, grandson of Jarrell, just shot an air ball, dog. Just wide open air ball.
So in the season, he's been playing a lot of basketball this summer, so give him a break. He's going to get his sea legs underneath him. But with regards,
he should be warmed up, shouldn't he? Right now, the Clippers are up 30.
He's a little fatigued. That's okay. Yeah, as far as the Clippers stuff is concerned. But like we were talking about with the Bengals, I mean, they're just they're kind of finding their stride. JB's getting a little bit more healthy.
You mentioned that.
A little bit of concern in San Francisco with regards to that quarterback position.
Oh no concern. No concern.
I didn't believe to put my face on the hot stove there, the eye that's glowing, bright orange. Like, is Brock Purdy quarterback? I was like, please don't make me say it. You're like, no, the 14, 15 games in a row. You lost a regular season game. Now he's lost 3 in a row. How do you feel about him, Cam?
3 in a row is 3 in a row. It's hard to argue 3 in a row. I mean, one was obviously the missed field goal. That was the first one. Now we got 2 in a row. On top of that one where you just missed a field goal, and we'll just say, shame. One time is shame on me. Second
Yeah,
time,
no. Okay, it's 3 in a row now.
yeah. I mean, 3 is a trend.
It's 3 in a row.
Three is
Yeah.
a trend. That's 3 is a
Okay.
trend. It's not a
Okay.
good look. But I have confidence that
So you have confidence in Brock Purdy still.
I didn't expect them to lose 3 in a row, but they played the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals had a lot coming into this game. Their season was essentially on the line. Their season was essentially on the line.
Was Minnesota's season on the line last week? Before that?
Pretty much. They were both in the same situation.
Okay, so every time they play somebody with the season on the line, then that means something different.
Hey, it's 3 in a row.
It's 3 games in a row.
I have San Francisco. Do I have the Niners winning this week? No, they're on a bye. They're taking a week off. This is a bad week.
Okay.
This is a bad week for them. This is a bad week. You know what? When you bring that test score home right before Christmas break, and that Christmas break just isn't so glorious.
It lingers over you. It lingers over you. Mm-hmm. Especially when you just lost the division lead, and then you don't even get a chance. I mean, let's just take, for example, if the Seahawks win this week. Wow. You're a game and a half behind.
Look, I still have the San Francisco 49ers winning the division.
No. You have the San Francisco 49ers representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. Let's not make any mistake about that.
No. I got the Eagles.
2 elbows. Yeah, 2 elbows on that, Playboy. Go back and check your records. Go back and check the thing, man.
Did I change that? Because I had the.
Did I change? Woo! He looks at the 3 losses in a row. He's like, did I change that? Did I? Okay.
There it is. There.
Cleveland says no.
Well, Cleveland's gonna be paying up.
Did you read that again? Read that again, Playboy.
I'm good.
Did you read that?
49ers will play in the Super Bowl for 2 pounds.
Of ribs. Cleveland says no.
Yeah. Cleveland's going to be upset.
So the 49ers are not going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl is what I am saying. And after 3 losses and Josh Purdy at quarterback, you still think that they're going to represent the NFC?
Purdy. Get his name right. Get his name right. Brock Purdy. Get
Brock
his name
Purdy,
right.
Josh Purdy, it don't make no difference, man. Purdy. So is Purdy gonna represent?
He gonna show you by the end of the season. He gonna show you who his name is. You can't even get his name right. So he's
irrelevant, man. He's irrelevant to me after 3 straight losses. After you guys put my face on the bright orange burner, trying to force me to say he was great, and he's not.
Okay. Well, clearly. You said it. I got it on tape. You said it.
I know because you put my face at the hot orange burner, man.
So Cleveland won this week again. These numbers need to be altered, but the pick segment he did win. That should be 12, not 13. To my 9, not 10. They won the pick segment. Picks against the spread. We tied it on 1 apiece, and then he did win to take a narrow margin. A narrow margin. It won't be that way for long, fans. I promise you that. Last week we both lost with KC at number 5 with 5 points. I had I had Baltimore, Detroit, Buffalo, and the Dolphins, each one for me. He had Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, and Miami, one for him. My games of the week this week. This is an interesting week here because there's some stinker games, but then there's a few great games. The Dolphins and the Chiefs will meet in London. They lock horns up out in London. Shows London fans what the NFL football is all about. Do you like this high-profile game being played outside the country?
No.
Me neither. But they'll be in Tottenham. Tottenham, I think it's called, Germany. The Cowboys and the Eagles. This is going to be a good one. We're going to talk about who you have, but this is one of my games of the week. Seahawks. Your Seahawks playing against the Ravens. That's another good one. And then the Bills versus the Bengals. Let you know who we have later on. But fans, I think these are the games of the week. If you have some different games of the week, I'd like to know. If you got some other better games than that, we're gonna go through the schedule. But if you got some better games than that one, whew, tell me. So here's a look at the schedule as it is for this week coming up. Tennessee versus the Steelers. I got Tennessee, of course. Dolphins versus Chiefs. Look at that. You
Oh,
got the Dolphins.
you changed yours because you had KC before. Did you
No,
come to
I didn't have no
did
KC.
the 305 cats call you?
I had KC before.
No.
Explain why you gonna give me this West Coast team travels east again. That philosophy is why the Seahawks can't win. I mean, these are professionals. They can't get over a little jet lag. This is Pete and John. Pete's played. Please played on both coasts by now. He don't have no special soup for these guys.
He absolutely does, man. And before the last loss, they were incredible traveling to the East Coast, but not this time.
The Rams and the Packers. I'm going with the Rams. You got the Packers. You got you betting on Josh on Jordan Love. I'll tell you that Jordan Love is Jordan heartbroken. He's a heartbreaker. I tell you that. I'm going with New Orleans. New Orleans over the Bears. The Texans over the Bucks. Got the Falcons over the Vikings. I mean, even if Josh Dobbs does play, he doesn't know the line.
He's not going to play this week. They already done said that, so they're going with the rookie this week.
They're going with the rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Falcons they better win this game. That might be the next coach fired if they lose this game.
I feel that.
The Browns and the Cardinals. I got the Browns in this one. New Orleans or New England and the Commanders. The Commanders is giving up on the season. So I'm going with I'm going with the Patriots. Going with Bill to get his get over the 300 win mark. The Colts and the Panthers. I got Indy. Why do you got Indy? Why aren't you going with the Panthers?
Jonathan Taylor, the strong rushing game.
Indy defense the Panthers might not score 9 points in this game. You don't believe in the defense. The Cowboys traveled to Philly to play the Eagles. I got the Eagles winning this game. It's not going to be close. Why do you have the Cowboys?
Better defense, and so far Philadelphia has looked very workmanlike in the first couple of weeks of the season, but as it goes on, they just don't show that they're significantly better than the other teams that they're playing. And if Dallas comes a little something, it could be a different outcome. And in addition, one of their losses is to the New York Jets. So
something like the Dak Prescott. What do you think Dak Prescott's going to do?
To CD Lamb and that defense, that running game, certainly kicked in last week. So
39-24. Plumlee spin move. Oh, and gets fouled. Called a foul. 39-24 Clippers over the Lakers. Plumlee just got fouled by AD. He got hacked all up in the arms and chest and eye sockets. And they didn't even call a foul. Yeah, they're on the Lakers court, obviously. Giants and Raiders, who cares? I got the Las Vegas playing inspired football this game. We don't know. What do we know about Tyrod Taylor playing?
I mean, I'm not really 100% sure. That's a real coin flip. I mean, at this point, I would probably be inclined to actually switch my pick.
It is a coin flip. I'll give you that. But I got the Raiders playing some inspired football. They benched Jimmy G. They're going with McConnell. So they're going to be a new coach. Try to change the tune up again. How it puts a little salt in the water. They might change things up a little bit. Bills and the Bengals is going to be a pretty good game. 5-3 Bills, 4-3 Bengals. Bengals, they're at Cincinnati. I got Cincinnati winning this game. So do you. I think the Bills, I just don't trust them. I don't trust the Bills. I don't trust Josh Allen at all. As you stated last week, JB is back. He showed that against the Niners. If he can do that, if they can play and win the game as convincing as they did against the Niners, I don't think the Bills is going to be a problem at all. And then the Chargers and the Jets in New York. You got New York Jets. Why do you have New York Jets?
Well, first and foremost, Cam, the Los Angeles Chargers are traveling across the country, and secondly, I just was not impressed with their previous 2 victories. I mean, they're cool and all, but not so much.
I mean, traveling across the country, you act like these guys haven't traveled before. You act like
It just
they're traveling by horseback.
It just takes a toll on them physically, mentally,
Like they're traveling by
psychologically.
horseback. Come on,
And first and foremost, the Chargers aren't really that formidable to begin with. So any added extra little thing is going to tip the scale the other way.
Anything is going to tip the scale the other way. He says that sounds like a little bias to me. He says,
"No, not really.
Any little thing is going to tip the scale the other way." That's weird. That's weird. I mean, I can't really argue that. I can't argue. I'm done arguing for the Chargers, but I think they're more talent than the Jets. I'm not buying. I mean, you act like they're traveling horseback and pulling their helmet and pads on moose across the country, and they have to traverse the mountains and the snow and all this to get over there to New York. I mean, you're making such a big deal of the travel. We'll see how that works out with the Jets and the Chargers. This week I have LA, the Rams. My picks against the spread. I'm going with the Rams getting 3 points. Yeah, who are the Rams playing? The Packers. Yeah, Jordan Love. I'll take
Can you do me a favor though, Playboy, and change that to Philadelphia to -3 because they're actually giving the points.
Where you see that at? What are you talking about?
Oh no, the Eagles are favored to beat the Cowboys, and you have Philadelphia +3. It's actually -3.
Okay, we'll get that corrected.
Cool, thank you. And then you have the Chargers. And actually, giving
-3. Yeah, I mean, cool. I take the Chargers at -6, but that's not what's on the board. So, and you got the Seahawks +6 against the Baltimore Ravens. It's a +6, really. Ooh, +5.5. You got the Dolphins. You really that confident in the Dolphins, huh? And then the Jets. You take.
I mean, yeah. Have you been seeing the way the Dolphins have been playing lately? Incredible.
Our confidence picks. I got Cincinnati for 1, Philly for 2, the Rams. This is actually a tough week to do this. Actually, I got the Rams at 3. I got New Orleans at 4 and Cleveland at 5. And you got oddly enough, and this is kind of why the one thing the Google Sheets is working out, but the one thing is I usually like to do my picks first. And then I see your picks, and it not that I'm copying your picks, but I see your picks and that messing with me. I feel like I have to change my original pick once I see your picks. You got the Steelers +1, Bengals +2, the Houston Texans +3, Cleveland 4, New Orleans 5. And like I said, this was a tough week to do the confidence picks, man. This is because there's some good games, and
there's no gimmies. There was no slam dunks.
This is a tough week, man, to do this. So yeah, thank you for tuning in with me for that one. I don't know what the heck is going on with this thing on the screen here. All right, get off the screen. Like usually I get a try 3 pictures, but I don't know what the heck they did with this little format here. Yeah, so that's our confidence picks. You can't see that, right? You don't see that. Okay. Man, let's jump into this NBA action right now. Again, the Clippers are up 9 minutes to go in the second quarter, up on the Lakers, 41-30. With Plumlee going to the line. PJ Tucker is playing. I don't know why your boy's not playing, but PJ Tucker's not playing. He's out there tonight. So it's kind of curious as to why Harden isn't playing. But Harden gets traded. Harden, PJ Tucker, and who do they send? Felipe Petruzev. He gets sent to Sacramento. So really Harden, PJ Tucker goes to the Clippers from Philadelphia. And the Philadelphia Sixers get Nick Batum, Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, and draft picks and pick swaps. I think 2 of each actually. I've been on record saying I don't like this trade. Cleveland is over there giggling and ecstatic about this trade. I mean, you ain't stopped smiling all day, have you? You ain't stopped look at it. You ain't stopped smiling all day for this because of this trade. What do you think about? Like this new format. What are your thoughts on this trade? Go ahead. What are your thoughts on this trade?
Well, Cam, I love it. I mean, I've been campaigning for this since the rumors first swirled that this was a possibility. I mean, I know how badly Mr. Ballmer wants to win a championship, in that he will.
And Harden's the answer. Harden is the answer for them to win the championship. Is that what you're going to tell the fans?
He will do whatever it takes. Money is no object when it comes to winning this championship that he so covets. And here you go, the opportunity to upgrade your team with a former MVP of the league, the reigning assist leader from last year, someone that's capable of scoring 34, 35 points a game. You add that, and plus he's also a Los Angeles native. Cam, did you know that team has 4 Los Angeles natives as one of their 4 best players? Kawhi Leonard's from Los Angeles.
Kawhi from
Paul
San Diego.
George is from Los Angeles.
He's from San Diego.
Westbrook is from Los Angeles, and now James Harden. So you add that mix, so they all have that chemistry. They're all kind of grown up in the same soil. Whatever needs to happen.
So would you have liked? Would you have liked
needs to get traded or not? They'll either work the problems they had out in Houston. They'll either work those out, or Russell Westbrook will be on the trading block, because that's it's kind of the the hierarchy of things over there.
So would you have been happy if Pelinka traded for James Harden?
I mean, it's hard to say. It depends on what we would have had to give up to get him. Chemistry is a big part of this thing. So,
you hear this BS this guy is spewing. You hear this BS.
But I am so happy, because now we all get a chance to see. Okay, it's these cats in their last, couple of golden years. Coming to the end of the road.
LeBron driving to the hole got ripped by Miles Plumlee. LeBron just got ripped by Miles Plumlee, dog. I mean,
I'm so sorry. I thought we were talking about the Los Angeles Clippers. And Tyronn Lue. I mean, with all these players, I mean, hopefully, he has enough, plays in his bag to make this successful. Enough things he can drop on the chalkboard, the little whiteboard during timeouts to kind of get them over the top. So
you guys hear this BS? This is actual BS. He's tickled pink over there.
I mean, with all that talent, I can't see why they can't get to at least the second round of the Western Conference playoffs, and quite possibly the Western Conference Finals.
Just like the Dolphins are going to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Fans, okay. Now let me give you some legit logic, some unobjective speak right now that Cleveland was just so afraid to do. What I've said this for years on this show, and to my friends covering the Clippers at Staples Center before it became crypto. Kawhi and PG need a legitimate point guard to help them get easy buckets. They work too hard for their buckets. Kawhi has to pound and find his spots. He wants to get to the spots, pound, 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 get to a spot. PG is a follower, so he wants to do the same thing, pound, 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 get to a spot, or cross you up and take you to the hoop, or pull up and hit a three. But he works too hard for his buckets. They have needed a legitimate point guard for multiple years.
And now they have one, Cam, the point guard that led the league in assists last year.
He led the league in assists, Cleveland, because he had the ball in his hands for 40 of the 48 minutes of the game. He's not going to be, this is not Houston. This is not Brooklyn. This is not the 76ers, where they're going to allow him to pound the ball for 40 of the 48 minutes every game. This is going to be a different offense. He's going to be on the floor. He might not play 40 minutes a game. He's going to play somewhere between 20, 25 minutes a game. Is he going to be happy, Cleveland? Remember, he wanted to go back to Houston before Houston and Udoka said, no. He went to go back to Houston so he can go get off his 25 shots a game, so he can try to average 25 points a game, and so he can be the guy with the ball in his hands and show the young guys how to do it. They said no. The Clippers should have said no. This is not an opportunity for you to shine, buddy. What we need you to do, if you want to be a part of it, and I hope Ty Lue had this conversation. I hope I could ask Ty Lue this question. What is your conversation with James Harden? What are you actually expecting out of him? Because I expect him to say, we need 12 assists out of you per game. That means no shot for you, Mr. James Harden. That means you shoot when you're wide open.
I'm so sorry if I could interrupt here. What the Clippers are getting is a very unselfish James Harden. A James Harden that is willing to sacrifice
unselfish James Harden, the same James Harden that called the owner a liar.
A James Harden that is willing to sacrifice certain parts of his game for the greater good. I mean, if he has to sit back a little bit, play a few less minutes, get a little bit less of the spotlight in order to win a championship, well, he's willing to do that, Cam. He signed on board. He signed on board for all of that.
If Ballmer, Frank, Lawrence Frank, if Ty Lue,
they've all had conversations. Ty Lue as well. I mean, they've all had
that conversation with him, and he said, uttered those words. I want to win. If he uttered those words,
I want to win, no matter what. It's not about Cam. At this point in his career, it's no longer about individual accolades. Okay, it's about helping the team win and the greater good.
If he actually said that,
he said that,
I would change my thinking on this trade.
Okay.
If I heard that in the press conference,
kind of change your thinking,
because Cleveland, you talking about he's a changed man. All he wants to do is win. Cleveland, he had the league's MVP. When have you heard a player say they don't want to play with the league's MVP? Has that ever happened?
Probably never.
I want to get me off of the team with the league's MVP. Has that ever happened?
There were some things that went.
Dwight Howard didn't say that. Kobe, the Shaq didn't win the MVP in 2004 or 2003, did he? Shaq didn't win league MVP.
He won in 2000.
Yeah, so Kobe never did that. That's never happened where somebody wins the league MVP and the point guard says, "Get me off of this team." You talking about unselfish?
Well, I mean, it sounds like it had a lot to do with the discord between himself and the front office and certain promises that were made. I believe the statement that he made in China was that Daryl Morey is a liar and can't be trusted, and he'll never work with that person ever again. I believe it's what he said in China. So,
and this is what we're dealing with, Ballmer. This guy has had issues with Embiid. He's had issues with KD. He's had issues with Kyrie. He had issues with CP3. He had issues with Dwight Howard. And this is what you bring to LA to try to win a championship? Like, Come on,
Missing
record.
piece. The missing piece.
Yeah, I don't see it right now. Without them, they're running the Lakers off the gym. It's 54, 52, or excuse me, 50. It's 51-39. 4 minutes to go in the first half. Missing piece. I don't see the missing piece.
Okay, well, yeah, this game means a whole lot more to the Los Angeles Clippers than it means to the Los Angeles Lakers at this point in the
And cut
season.
it out, man. The Clippers have won 13 of the last. They're 13-0
That's great.
in their
That's
last
cool.
matchup.
That's cool. How they do in the playoffs last year? Who went further in the playoffs? I don't recall. Can you refresh my memory? Were the
Playing the
Los Angeles Clippers in the Western Conference Finals? Because I believe the Los Angeles Lakers were there.
They got swept though.
Who were they playing?
They got
Oh,
swept.
it wasn't the Los Angeles
Are you
Clippers.
bragging?
It was the Denver Nuggets. Oh,
Are you
sorry.
bragging about
The
getting
Los
swept?
Angeles Clippers were not one of the Western Conference Finals teams last
Are
year.
you bragging about getting
The Los
swept?
Angeles Lakers were.
Is that what you want to talk about? Are you bragging about getting swept?
No, you was bragging about them 13 regular season victories, and all I said was, "Hey, man, who was in the Western Conference Finals last year?"
Why are you changing the topic, man?
Because your topic has no relevance when you're talking about the bigger picture.
What's your biggest takeaway from first week of the NBA season? I mean, I got a list of stuff I can go off of. What's your top takeaway?
My top takeaways is that LeBron is playing a few too many minutes. KD is playing a few too many minutes. Boston seems to be fairly formidable, but so does Milwaukee. That's going to be a real thing coming down the stretch.
Boston won today, 155. They beat the Pacers 155-99.
Wow.
Woo. And yeah, until I saw that one, yeah, I'm in agreement with you. They're looking pretty strong. 155 finished the score 155-104. But Milwaukee had an ugly loss, so they had an ugly loss. Let me give you the score. It was 130-111. At one point, it was like a 30-point game, but it was 130-111 to Toronto. But it's early in the season, as you know. It's early in the season, so continue to go.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, just getting Victor Wembanyama more touches, more experience, more exposure. Get him a go-to move.
Did you watch the game last night? Did you see them play the Suns last night?
I did not have a chance to get through the end of that. I watched a little bit of it in the beginning, but not the takeover.
Ooh, they came back and won that game.
Yeah, and again they had KD out there by himself a little too long.
Okay, so one of my takeaways is the Celtics and the Bucks. They are who we thought they were. That's gonna be a hell of a race all season long. Maxey looks ready for his new lead role. So far this season, he's averaging 30 and 6 on 50% shooting. He looks like he's ready. We thought if we turn the ball over to him, he's going to do his thing, and he's doing his thing. And now I think so. We talked about the trade, trade from the Clippers standpoint, but the Sixers, they get Nick Batum. I know you laugh at Nick Batum. They get Marcus Morris. Not sure how you feel about Marcus Morris, and they get Robert Covington, and they get KJ Martin, kind of a young hopper. Guy who's leaping out the gym. He's not quite his dad, but he does some of the similar things his dad did. He's not his dad. I said that. He does some of the things that his dad did. Rebound, play tough defense. He's not the scorer that his dad was. His dad was more of a low post player. He plays a little bit more outside. So he's not his dad. I said that. I clarified that. But he does some of the things that his dad does. That's what Philly needed. Philly needed more bodies. They needed a Nick Batum, who a 3-and-D guy. They needed a Marcus Morris. They needed who's back home from Philly, where Marcus Morris, the Clippers, and this is where I would kind of say he didn't get. He's a kind of a guy who needs. He can't just come in and play 15 minutes and give you. You can get all he got in 15 minutes. He needs 25, 30 minutes on the court. He needs to get more shots up to get rhythm.
Does he? Is that what he needs to be successful?
He's one of the guys who
that's
needs.
cool, man.
He needs one of the guys to get.
Let me get back to this trade, man. Given that PJ Tucker was a lot to give up, considering how the rest of that team is constructed, Marcus Morris coming home, that's great. That's cool. Batum, that's cool. You can kind of drift around, the 3-point line and kind of do some things, man. But
Covington is another baller.
They got fleeced in this trade. I'm sure Embiid is not happy with the assets that they got back.
He didn't want. Well, he would say he wanted
Harden by subtraction, but really, no.
Exactly. Now you get Harden is gone. Somebody who you were battling with up and down all off season. He stayed away from the
league. Someone that went for 40 in some Eastern Conference final game last year. And who'd you replace him with? Nick Batum and Covington and Mark Morris and some picks.
So, somebody's. Now you got somebody to play alongside Maxey. You got somebody Covington's gonna give you some points. Marcus Morris, he's gonna give you some points. He's back home. He's gonna do his thing. That's not a bad trade. That's for the 76ers to give up Harden, who wasn't gonna be show there and be a solid soldier anyway, to get these 3 rotation players back. That was a good move. And you get KJ Martin and
3 rotation players back, and Kenyon Martin's son, whose claim to fame is being Kenyon Martin's son to this point.
You begging us. So nothing. So I think they're gonna be okay. The 76ers are clearly, this puts them they were number 4 or 5 in the East. Now they're number 3 solidly in the Eastern Conference. They're clearly don't overtake Boston or the Celtics. Boston or Milwaukee. But this puts them comfortably into the third seed in the Eastern Conference. But another takeaway from early in the season is Booker and Beal missing games already. Dog, it's like we're 4 games into the season. KD is out there left alone, like he's, as you mentioned, play again. KD's on an island. Like, Booker, where you at? Booker, you're 30 years old. Beal is. How are you making $50 million if you not playing, dog? You have back spasms, dog. Come on, man. We're a week into the season and you still haven't hit the court. You got some fly gear on the bench, but dog, we want to see you on the court. Like, KD need help out there. And KD, he's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna go give it all he got. He gonna ride till the wheels fall off. That's how KD gonna play. He just gonna ride till the wheels fall off. Right now, he's number 12 in scoring. In NBA history, he reached 27,000 points last night. He was number 12th in scoring. He's only Wilt, Jordan, Kareem has reached 27,000 points faster. That's pretty impressive. If only Wilt, Kareem, and Jordan has reached the 27,000 mark point faster than you, that's pretty impressive. The next on the list is Eldon Hayes, Moses Malone, and your guy Carmelo Anthony is next on the list. That's who he's chasing down. But he's doing way too much. He's doing way too much on his own, man. And that's gonna hurt Phoenix later on in the season. Everybody has Phoenix high on the East, on the Western Conference, but this is gonna hurt him. Spending too much energy early is gonna hurt them later on in the season. Cleveland, Denver is 4-0. Dallas is 3-0. Can Dallas maintain this pace?
No.
You don't think? Luka looked like he was better shape, putting in some work this offseason. Looked like he wants to do some things. Kyrie, they got that boy Ivy. Is that his name? The center, Ivy. think it's Ivy Jr. I think that's his name. The center who's been balling.
Lively.
Is it Lively? Let me see. I'm gonna see what the
Derek Lively. Are you talking about?
yeah. Go ahead. So tell me what you think of what I just gave you while I look up this kid's name.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, these teams are doing amazing things this first 2 weeks of the season, and in the Western Conference, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but you know, let's see if they continue to progress at this pace. Towards Christmas. Let's just say.
Well, we got this tournament starting
And
up
the
this
playing
week.
tournament's about to start, so let's not sleep on that.
Yeah, Derek Lively is a kid named like he looks like he's a player, man. He looked like he's a baller and helping them out.
Mm-hmm.
The Grizzlies and the Houston. There's Houston. We have trouble. Both of those guys are winless. Two things I thought was going to be quietly good. Grizzlies 0-4.
Well, Desmond Bane's around there somewhere, right? And Jaren Jackson Jr. And I believe Marcus Smart is going to fill in doing some mentoring. Is that what you had him on board for? So, it's they're planting the seeds. And maybe by January or February that will blossom for you in the Western Conference of the NBA.
You can't start 0-4 in the Western Conference. I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that and think you're gonna just when y'all get back go on a 25-game win streak. That's not happening, fellas. You guys got to get together right now. Like you got to carry some water. Derrick Rose got to show up. Marcus Smart.
Derrick Rose has been showing up. Why are you trying to put this on Derrick Rose?
Desmond Bain.
Okay. Oh, there you go. There you go. The Desmond Baines, the Steve Adamses, Jaren Jackson Jr., the Marcus Smarts of the league, of the team. Yeah. Put it on them.
Whew. You guys got to get together. I need to see more out of the Grizzlies. This has been disappointing so far. What's not been disappointing is Kawhi out here just cashing on these Lakers, cashing in. Halftime, 61-48. Yeah. I mean, that's looked like a comfortable win right there.
Yeah, they're gonna beat them in the regular season again. Sounds like Cam.
A win is a win in the Western Conference.
A win is a win is a win is a win.
Wembanyama last night. I mean, he showed some good stuff, and he showed why he's the rookie. Like he has some trouble setting the screen. That was one thing I identified last night. Like he kept wanting to. First of all, I don't think, and it's hard to say this with my guy Pop coaching the squad. I don't think some of these guys on the team recognize who they're playing with. Like they like, okay, he might be good and all, but right now I'm trying to get mine. And it's like
I told you that last week. Isn't that what I said? Like, man, you need to get the ball back to him after he gives it to you, because the double team is coming to him. He's going to give it to you. It's going to go to that person. Give the ball back to him. It's always a better option for the ball to be in his hands than anyone else on that team.
And they like, nah.
You understand that, right?
They're like, nah, dog.
Yeah.
This is my time. This is my time right now. And it's like, come on, dog. Like you have you have the
physical mismatch of the century on your team every play.
Well, he is, and what I will say is he is a mismatch for everybody on the court, but he doesn't always play like.
Yeah, he's very passive when it comes to that.
That's what he has to figure out. He has to figure out his spots, where to dominate, where he can dominate, and how to dominate.
Hence that go-to move I was talking about, Cam. Develop that go-to move where that's what you want to do on the court all the time.
And what we say, like when Magic beat the Celtics, hell, we'll just go ahead and say Kareem Sky Hook. Like he need to be doing some version of that Sky Hook. Like come across and I say when Magic beat the Celtics with the post up and then the running the running
hook.
the baby hook.
The baby hook, yeah.
Yeah, like
a devastating go-to move, Cam. Whether it be
he needs to develop that. Like you have the agility, so he
you're
has
on
that
board.
agility.
I am so glad you're on board with everything that I've been saying this whole entire time.
Yeah, I was just watching that last night. Like, man, he tried to set the screen, but the guys, usually do the pick and pop or the pick and roll. The guy would come off the screen and then drive to the hoop and try to shoot a shot with men on him. Like, no.
Instead of just giving the ball back to you just got it from that 7-4. Yeah,
man. But then he's standing on the outside. He doesn't go. He doesn't even. We got to get it out of our mind that he's 7'4", and we think 7'4" go down in the paint. He doesn't go. That's not. He don't go in the paint. Like he may follow up a lay-in to get a tip-in dunk. He may go. He'll be down there.
He's not just posting up. He's not camped down there like Kevin McHale and them guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Or swing like a king.
That's what I'm saying.
But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that. He hovers around the 3-point line or the elbow.
Whether it's the sky hook, the dream shake, the George Gervin finger roll, the Tim Hardaway UTEP 2-step, the Dirk fade. I don't care, man. Just develop a go-to devastating can't stop move.
Something. I like to see him do the sky hook. I mean, that may be too much to ask, but he can do the kind of that baby hook. And with him,
I think the Dirk fade is going to be what's up, man. Just pick how you want to do it and where you want to do it from, man.
Yeah, I mean that would be. I mean, he could do that as well because once you catch the ball and turn, like there's nobody who's gonna be able to contest that.
Perfect it so you do it the same way every time from the same spot, and like, man, what are we gonna do about that?
Yeah, that's so we'll be looking closely at Wemby's growth here in the offseason. But yeah, we both agree on that. The in-season tournament starts this week. Are you excited? Are you
excited? Excited to see what this in season tournament brings, Cam.
To be very honest with you, I know I've been banging on this all off season long.
But now you're getting kind of curious. Yeah.
I'm disappointed I didn't buy a plane ticket to Vegas. Early December. A little disappointed. Because yes, this is gonna be an event. It's gonna be an event.
Whoa.
It's gonna be an event.
You started an event within the season before the event within the season.
the championship of this tournament.
You started to feel a little bit. Oh, okay.
This is gonna be, and again, regardless of, first of all, I don't think the Pacers. I don't think the Pacers just got blew out by 50. I don't think that it's gonna come down to a Pacers Thunder matchup. Okay, I don't think we're gonna see that where when we get down to it, nobody really cares about it. I don't think we're gonna see that. I think it's gonna be. We're gonna get down to some teams. We're gonna get down to a Warriors. We're gonna get down to a Warriors Celtics. We're gonna get down to a Sacramento Kings. It's gonna be some teams who really has something to prove, and really trying to catch somebody's eye right now. So, the Celtics and the Celtics. You know what I just thought about? I have to double check, fans. Can it be two Western Conference teams in the same tournament? Because teams are no, it's broken down. They're broken down in pods. Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. There's no crossover, right? It is going to be an Eastern Conference team versus a Western Conference team, right?
I don't recall all of the.
I think I. Go ahead and filibuster for a minute, Cleveland.
No, I just think that it's going to mean something, like you're saying, right off the, right off the cuff. So if they're already building it up like this and making it a thing, and what better place than Las Vegas to make it a thing, right? So if it really kind of takes off like that with any kind of like fireworks or uh, spectacular endings to whatever happens, it just makes it that much more you know interesting
Yeah,
going forward. So
yeah, it's East versus West. Each team, each pod's the West pod. West A is Memphis, Phoenix, Lakers, Utah, and Portland. West B is Denver Nuggets, Clippers, Pelicans, Rockets, and Mavericks. West C is Kings, Warriors, Timberwolves, Spurs, and OKC. East C or East A is 76ers, Cleveland, the Hawks, the Pacers, and the Pistons. East B is Milwaukee, New York, the Heat, the Wizards, and the Hornets. East C is Boston, New Jersey, the Raptors, the Bulls, and the Magic. So it is going to be East versus West.
okay.
It is going to be East versus West when it comes down to it. But yeah, I think it's going to be some teams. Man, I that Clippers Nuggets is going to come down to, and that West B is going to be Clippers Nuggets when it comes down to it. The Lakers is going to have to be Lakers and Suns, right? I mean, does Utah have a chance to do anything? We just talked about
Utah,
how bad
Portland, or was that other team? Utah, Portland.
Memphis, Memphis. We just talking about how terrible Memphis
Yeah,
looking.
so it's coming down to Lakers, Suns.
This West C is going to be Sacramento Warriors, Timberwolves, OKC. I mean, they
Warriors,
legit.
OKC. So okay, yeah.
OKC needs to learn how to win. Today they jumped out on
Oh
the
man,
Pelicans.
you're being a little optimistic, asking them to know how to win right away, right now, today.
No, I'm just saying that's where they need to know how to win. They have skills. They have all the talent.
They have talented basketball players. They don't know how to win.
They don't know how to win. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point. They need to learn how to win. East A is the Sixers, the Cavaliers, the Atlanta Hawks, who DeJounte Murray. I don't know if you know. Can't wait to go cover some Hawks games this year because he's going to be your boy Trey Young might be on the blocks.
Okay.
The Pacers and the Pistons, that's going to come down to who? The Sixers, Cavaliers, or the Hawks? I think the 76ers
and the Hawks, okay.
They may try to win. They may try to win something. I mean, they may be you talking about how they got a bunch of bums coming over from the Lakers or from the Clippers. They may be trying to win something. The Bucks, Knicks, Heat, Wizards, and Hornets. If that's going to be the Bucks and the Knicks,
that ain't close. Next one.
The Celtics, Nets, Raptors, Bulls, and Magic. That's going to be Celtics easy, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's anybody who can compete. So, but I think it's going to be some young teams. I think again, I'm a little salty right now just thinking about it. I haven't bought maybe there's still time for me to get this plane ticket to Vegas because this is going to be something worth watching. I think this is going to be something worth watching this in-season tournament. There's going to be a signing. It's going to be the first one. Yeah. But yeah, those are some of the things that I was excited about. You want to take a break or you want to speed through the show? It's up to you.
Oh, let's roll through.
So fans, one of our staple segments is This Week in History. Cleveland. This Week in History. November 1, 1901. Historically black Grambling State University founded with 3 teachers and 125 students back in 1901. November 1st, 1945, the first issue of Ebony, is published by John H. Johnson, selling 2,500 copies. November 1, 1945. November 1, 1981, Caribbean dual island nation of Antigua and Bermuda gained independence from the United Kingdom. November 2nd, 1983. Legislative bill establishing Martin Luther King Day as a national holiday is signed. Martin Luther King Day became first national federal holiday in America since the creation of Memorial Day in 1948. And it still took years before everybody recognized it right as a holiday. Because remember, Phoenix didn't want to, Arizona
didn't want it.
Didn't want it, cost them a Super Bowl. November 3rd, 1986, African American inventor J.H. Hunter patents the portable weighing scales. 1896. November 1, 1964, Carol Moseley Braun, a Democrat, becomes the first African American woman elected to the United States Senate. 11/1/1964, Jim Brown, Cleveland Browns running back, becomes the first player to exceed 1,000 or 10,000 yards rushing. 10,000 yards rushing. That was what, nearly 50 years ago, or nearly 60 years ago. That's not gonna mean anything here pretty soon, right? 10,000 yards rushing.
It depends, Cam. I mean, it doesn't. It sounds like with more games, it should be easier to do. But
17 games. He was doing it in 12, I think.
He's doing it in 14 games.
November 1, 2010, the San Francisco Giants won their first World Series since moving to California. Who did they defeat? Who did they defeat? Cleveland.
The New York Yankees.
No, they defeated the Texas Rangers in 5 games, who today won their first World Series behind Corey Seager, who becomes the only who joins Reggie Jackson as the only major league position player to win the Major League Baseball MVP, World Series MVP twice. He did it with the Dodgers and the Rangers. And now, as obviously the Rangers went on to win this World Series. Do you think the Dodgers regret not signing Corey Seager? Like, you don't think they do?
No, he was injury prone, and they had other salary, things they had to do.
You won the World Series MVP with the Dodgers. So okay, we'll let you go. Come on, man. You guys are heartless. What's the story of the season, man? Let's talk some college football. What's the story of the season in the college football? Is it still the Colorado Buffaloes? Is it the Pac-12? What's the story of the season?
The story of the season so far has been the Pac-12 and the teams that are still in contention in the top 25 for a conference that is dissolving based upon the talent that supposedly was not there. So I still think that's the biggest storyline of the year.
Will the Huskies?
Secondly, being this whole thing going on at Michigan with the
yeah, that's another story. Yes.
The future of Jim Harbaugh, and if he's no longer the coach of the Michigan Wolverines, then that just means he'll just be the coach of the Los Angeles Chargers just that much faster. So,
or the Las Vegas
or
Raiders.
the Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean,
yeah, that's a huge gaping hole and vacancy right now, right? That needs to be filled by somebody.
I mean, he'd be a better fit for the Raiders, Mr. Harbaugh, and all the shenanigans he pulls, right?
Oh, I don't know if he's really his temperament is built for Vegas per se, but maybe a little bit more Los Angeles.
How could you be Los Angeles but not Vegas? Kind of curious.
I mean, Vegas is very glamour and glitz, and Harbaugh wears khakis that he buys from Target, so that's not quite the same thing.
What is LA? What would you consider LA?
Well, I mean, LA, you can kind of do your own thing your own way. So whatever he wants to be, you can be. You can't kind of invent yourself, if you will.
Okay. What do you think about the science ceiling? Apparently, there's a poll that was sent out of unnamed coaches that say 60% say Harbaugh should be punished. What do you think about that?
I mean, if you're going that far out of your way to do it, I mean, if you're doing it like the Patriots and Belichick, I mean, you're just going a little bit too far with it, man. Sending people on the on the road, buying tickets, getting close seats to kind of get all into their system and their.
Oh, you didn't hear the latest scandal is that they had some dude infiltrate the coaching staff, and he was actually on the sidelines with glass sunglasses and
Okay,
coaching gear.
yeah, come on, man. For
Yeah,
real?
he's actually on the
That's way that's,
sidelines.
that's way too far out of bounds. Way too far.
I mean, but
That,
so
that's 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 completely totally unnecessary, especially at that level.
are you punishing the school or are you punishing Harbaugh? What do you do? Because if you punish the school,
You're punishing
Harbaugh's
both,
not.
man. I mean, whose idea was this, man?
So you're gonna say Harbaugh, you can't coach in the NCAA for 2 years? You get a 2-year suspension?
I don't
Is
know
that
how long, but I mean, if he's really sending people to go infiltrate the other team's sideline and pretend to be a coach, and you're the one that authorized this whole scheme, yeah, man, that's ridiculous.
I agree with you. But again, who are you penalizing? Are you
You're
penalizing
penalizing
the
both.
coach
You're
or
penalizing
Harbaugh?
both.
Both?
Both.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's ridiculous. It's a bit too far. It's a bit too much. I mean, Michigan's supposed to be better than that, aren't they? As far
Right?
as
Yeah, number 3 team
that's what
this
I'm saying.
year.
It's not if they were number 12 team looking for an advantage.
Yeah,
It's not say I get it, but it's
college
more
playoff last
understandable.
year. Yeah, yeah.
But when you've been a top team for the last couple years, you've been up in the top 5 rankings. Like, come on, Jim. Like, dog, what do you do, dog? Or he's just fuck it. I'm looking for a way out. You gonna run me out of town? Run me out of town. But if we did, I'm doing it my way, and we'll see what happens. Can your Huskies go down to LA and get a win?
Should be able to.
I mean, their OC has kind of been jerking up things here recently.
Last game was not about the OC. Last game was about the defense and letting Stanford, stay in the game way too long, unfortunately. But the offense will always be there, less that one game against Arizona State.
Less that one game, huh? What's your thoughts on the Colorado Buffaloes? Obviously they regressed, and we knew they wouldn't be able to keep up with that 3-0 streak that the standard that they had set in those first 3 games. What's your thoughts on the Buffaloes at this point? Still, just it's a wait and see. Give them a couple years.
Goal is to see if they can get bowl eligible this year. If they do, that would be quite a feat. The super success will come in 2 years. They'll be better than they were this year, next year. And the question becomes, how long can they retain Deion Sanders?
Because you said Dion is already outgrown them, right?
Correct, yes.
Well, you want to see him with the Cowboys, or you want to see him in the Raiders?
The University of Miami, Texas A&M, and Michigan will all have very tough decisions to make this offseason.
No, I tell you, he still don't coach this team right. Yeah, have you noticed that yet? That last game he didn't even have
whatever Deion brings to the table. Michigan, Texas A&M, and Miami will have some tough decisions to make. And if they make that tough decision, Colorado certainly cannot keep pace with that.
Right. Who's the Heisman? Who's the Heisman leader right now?
Still Penix.
Still. Okay. What's your thoughts on Joe Smith going broke? Is it okay? Do you give consent to your wife to make an OnlyFans page to pay the bills?
No. I don't believe that there was ever consent given. I mean, I guess the question is again,
Well, I'm just saying
very-
that's the question I'm asking.
no, you don't give the consent, but it's just again more disappointing that that they're even that position. It means
Yeah,
that you
he
squandered
was not only
$56
was he the
million.
number one pick, but wasn't he? No, that was Juwan Howard who Miami made the $100 million offer to under the table, who they shouldn't have, right? But I think Minnesota made a similar offer to him, if I remember correctly. Like I think Minnesota made a ridiculous offer. It was shortly after the Juwan Howard incident, but very similar in the same way, where it was some tampering involved.
Yeah, and I mean, Joe Smith was signing the contract as the number one pick in the draft before there was ever any like salary cap to being that
Right.
pick.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so this could be whatever it was. So
Man, sad story, Joe. Sad story, Joe. Rangers 11 wins on a row as they won tonight. My question I had it here: Does the Dodgers miss Corey Seager? Corey Seager goes on to win a second MVP, as I mentioned earlier, along with the only one other do that. The only one to do that other than Seager was Reggie Jackson. The 11-0 on the road, man. That's impressive, isn't it?
it's incredibly impressive. Statistically, probably impossible to do. Probably has never been done before.
And then lastly, Cleveland, what's your lasting memories of Bobby Knight, Indiana head coach, who, as we already know, he wouldn't be coaching today. No way he could coach in today's time. But what are your thoughts? What's your lasting memory of Bobby Knight? Obviously, he won the championship with Zeke, and what was that, 81? They went undefeated in college basketball. But then the throwing of the chair, the cussing people out in the interviews, headbutting the player. Did he headbutt the player and then punch his own son in the chest? Um, Bobby Knight was a wild one. What's your thoughts on Bobby Knight?
Yeah, I mean, clearly his legacy will be the 76 undefeated team.
Was it 76?
For me personally, I never understood why Isaiah Thomas went and played for him, and as opposed to going to play for DePaul, which was the predominant school in Chicago at the time. Never ever understood it. He always says that it was the best thing for him, and he wouldn't be the player that he was without Bobby Knight. I find that hard to believe, but that was always kind of a questionable thing. Lastly, it just
maybe felt you needed that structure or something.
perhaps, I know Ray Meyer was a little bit looser with the Demon Deacons over there, but it was still a very questionable decision at the time, I thought. But lastly, just the way he had so much latitude with his temper and aggression that other people just simply would never ever have. He got the benefit of the doubt in a lot of instances where if it was someone else, they would be completely thrown out of the institution of coaching altogether. And, he just got a slap on the wrist, and that's just Bobby Knight. And, the ability to kind of, I don't want to say walk on water, but let his emotions get the best of him. And, no one ever said anything was always a little bit questionable to me. To a certain extent, I won't say the results speak for themselves, but maybe they gave him a little bit, more, leeway and rope to do things, which again, is that fair? Hard to say, but a controversial character to say the least. 3 national championships, though. That's quite a few. Calipari didn't have that many.
Well, that's it, because you won early. And so when you win early, right, you're like, okay.
76, 81, 87. I mean, that's what, over 12 years.
But I'm saying he won early in his career at Indiana. Has Indiana won anything? And then that created the whole Hoosiers, and were they at that level before then? Because they were just like, we're Indiana.
Oh yeah,
quote
They were,
unquote.
they were very average pedestrian before then. So
And that's what I'm saying. So he took that program and made him like nationwide, nationally known.
relevant, yeah.
Yeah, and so when you do that, like nobody else has done that, right? In all the years of basketball have been played, nobody else has made Indiana worth listening to, but worth watching, and made them relevant. So when you're able to make them at least relevant, nobody in Indiana is going to say anything to you. And that being the case, it was the times where, you know, that's when coaches could yell and scream and do what they want, right? That before the era of sensitivity hit. I mean, 2000. I don't know when that era was. 2000. I mean, you remember Jimmy Johnson in '89 cut the player because he fell asleep in the meeting room. You know, he had no sympathy. The guy's having an asthma attack on the field. Jimmy Johnson says, "Get off the field. Get off my field. If you're having an asthma attack, we don't have that on our field." I mean, that's '89, and that was just like, oh wow, this coach don't care. That's '89. So 12 years before that, you know, Bobby Knight doing his thing. So when did he throw the chair? 85, 84, 85? Like,
I think it was a little bit after that, but kind of somewhere in that 85 to
mid
91
80s.
range,
Mid
late
mid
80s, early
80s.
90s.
I don't think it was early 90s. I don't think it was early 90s. But nonetheless, that still was a time with, even we'll say 90. Let's say 90. It was still in a time where, that's coaching. That's how it's done. That's, you listen to your coach and you don't rebel against your coach. Period. That's how it's done, right? And so again, that's, nobody's going to argue him because of, he was the head coach. He had prominence. He had won championships, and if you want to win championships, this is how you do it. So that's probably, and then he had the complexion for the protection as well. Like, you didn't see my man from Grambling coaching like that, right? You didn't you didn't see any of us doing that job. So that's probably what gave him that leeway. And then the 3 championships that made Indiana relevant. Made Indiana 3 is, I was gonna say made them relevant, like they were in the same conversation as UCLA, but obviously UCLA had a dozen championship, right? So it was interesting. I mean, it was just Bobby Knight. He just could not coach in today's time. He couldn't coach in 2000s and in the 2000s at all. But I mean, he got it. He got it. He got his. He got the most miles he can get out of his tennis shoes. I'll say that, because he did what he did, and credit to him for 3. I just thought of the 2. I forgot 76, so I just thought of the 2. But yeah, that's interesting. Bobby Knight, rest in peace, big guy. Cleavon, thank you for tuning in to the show, man. Let's give Cleavon a round of applause. Fans, give yourself a round of applause. Sticking with us. Week 264 is in the books, Cleavon. And as we do each and every show, man, I'll leave the fans with the quote, Cleavon. The quote I have for you tonight is, dedication makes dreams come true. Repeat that for the people in the back. Dedication makes dreams come true, Cleveland. And that's from the late, great Kobe Bryant right there. So that's a cool one. Fans, I want to thank you guys, as always, for being a part of the show. Thank you for contributing. Fans, as always, I want to thank you for making our voice your choice.